What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Tebogo Masemola, and welcome to another episode of Raga Chat with Masemola. In today's episode, we're going to be looking at this weekend's SuperRugby Unlocked fixtures. Enjoy. Alright, so taking a look at one of the games that's going to be playing this weekend is, of course, the Pumas versus the Griquas. Now, obviously, we all know last week what happened to the Pumas and what also happened to the Griquas, is those teams both lost their games. But, you know, if I have to look at the two games and the two teams, obviously, you know, I look at the Griquas and they played against a very strong Bull side that came on second half. You know, the Bull side was very strong second half and they did well to win that. But, you know, when I look at this Griquas team, I look at the guys such as George Whitehead, I look at the guys such as Zach Berger. You know, I think those guys are very good. You know, some of the new recruits as well, like Daniel Casinde, you know, I think those guys are very good. And this game, obviously, that they're going to play against the Pumas, I really think that they're going to win this game. You know, just because of the whole setup, the way they played, you didn't actually look at them and think, okay, this is a team that might not have played Super Rugby before. They came out guns blazing. They were, you know, they were giving the Bulls a challenge. So I definitely look at them and think that they're a very strong team. And, you know, I think that they can do really, really well in this competition and surprise a few big teams. Looking at the Pumas team, you know, I think there was only one outstanding player from their game, and that was, of course, this week's captain, Peter Janssen. I think he was really good in that game. You know, I think he scored a try, if I'm not mistaken, against the Cheetahs. He was leading from the front. He was guns blazing. So, yeah, I think it's going to be another tough day at the office for them. Not that I don't give them a chance, but I just think against this Griquas team and what they showed last week, it's in their hands whether they're going to win or lose this game. So yeah, based on that, I think that the Griquas are going to do really good in this game, and I give them the win for this game. All right, so another game that I want to give a close look at is, of course, the Bulls versus the Cheetahs. Oh, it's going to be a toughie. It's going to be a toughie. I looked at both of those teams and they are very, very strong. I mean, I look at the front row for the Bulls. You know, they got, you know, Trevor. I look at the eighth man, they got Dwayne. You know, I see a lot of the guys are back. So it's gonna be tough. I'm excited to see Ambrose Papier starting. You know, I think he's very good. So it's gonna be a huge game. You know, I think it's gonna be exciting. When I look at the Cheetahs and I see what they did last week, I was absolutely fascinated. You know, because last week I was thinking to myself, the Cheetahs are probably going to do well. I see them as one of the teams that are going to win this competition. But, you know, like when I saw them play last week, the way everything was just so fast. Oh my goodness me. Not dying with the ball, contact, you know, passing in contact and everything like that. I was really, really impressed with that Cheetahs team. You know, I was impressed with the lock, Carl, that got obviously man of the match for that game. I was just so impressed. I look at the hooker, you know, oh my goodness me, that Cheetahs team. Wow. You know, when I look at the Bulls, you know, they struggled. They struggled. Let's be honest. They struggled in that game against the Griquas. Second half, they did well. And I mean, I obviously I'm a Bulls fan, so you know, I always back the Bulls to do well. But you know, I have to be honest and say that in this game, I think it's going to be a real toughie. If I have to say who's going to win, I have to give it to the Cheetahs. And let me break down this decision. When I look at the Cheetahs, go back 2 years ago, go back a year ago. This Cheetahs team is the same team that played Pro 14 most of the time, played Pro 14, played Currie Cup, you know, and then the following year played Pro 14, Currie Cup. So you look at that team and you go, there's a lot of continuity in this team. Whereas when you look at the Bulls, last week they played with a different team, and this week they're playing with another team. So it's based on continuity and how obviously the guys are in sync with each other. I have to give it to the Cheetahs. I think they're gonna do well, and I think just in this competition they're gonna surprise a lot of teams. So I have to give it to the Cheetahs. It sucks, but because as a Bulls fan, you're obviously thinking, no, the Bulls are going to win. And I mean, you look at Big Dwayne, he's back. He wasn't there last week, and you also start thinking to yourself, what kind of a role can he play when he's there? I think with the forwards, these teams have rock solid forward packs. That's where the battle is going to be. And I think the forward pack that does well is the one that's going to get the victory for their team, because they're going to be the ones who are opening up the space for the back line. You see, that's where I think that as well, the Cheetahs are so dangerous. You look at Roscoe, Spick Magic, you see all of that, and you just start thinking to yourself, oh my goodness me, it is going down this weekend. You don't want to miss that game. You just absolutely don't want to miss that game. It is going to be an absolute cracker. All right, so looking at the last game, obviously being, the Stormers versus the Lions. Now, we take a look at 3 weeks ago when these teams took part and they played against each other. Obviously, the Stormers coming out with the win that game. To be honest, this week I don't see any change or any difference. I think the Stormers are going to win this game just because of, I think that they have so many players who you look at and you go, these are the players that are going to make an impact. I look at guys such as Warwick Geland, I look at Rikus, I look at Damien Willemse. I'm really hoping that Damien's going to have a good game this weekend, because I think he's been under a lot of pressure, and I think to myself, maybe it's because Pollard was injured, so he felt as if he had a point to prove. But I definitely hope that he's going to do well this game, and he's just going to come out guns blazing. I mean, it is their first game, so I expect him to come out guns blazing. I look at guys such as Herschel. It's time for them to come to life. I think they're going to really do well. I see the Stormers team doing really, really well. Big Francie's back, Malherbe. You look at Bongi Monami, you look at Steven Kitsoff. Oh my goodness me, this has to be honestly, a Springbok front three. This is a Springbok front three. You look at that and they're going to be heat. They are going to be heat. Wow. I look at that and I think to myself, that's where the challenge is going to be. I look from the Lions' point of view, you look at their players, you look at how their forward pack has to adjust. Their forward pack has to be rock solid. The last time these teams took part against each other, they got absolutely creamed in the scrums. They got absolutely creamed in the lineouts. With the ball in hand, everything. They were just smashed backwards the whole time. They just did not get any time to breathe. So I think that in this game, the coaches, I think that they pretty much have worked a lot with the teams. I think from the Lions' point of view, we're gonna see a lot of Channel 1 ball. I think your players such as Elton Yankees, I think he's going to be kicking a lot just to turn those big forwards around, get them running, because the Stormers pack, you can actually see a lot of the time they were really fatigued, in the first game that they played. So, yeah, I think that that's going to be maybe the game plan for the Lions. I think that they're just going to look to kick. They're going to look to make that forward pack tired. The harder they work, the harder they're going to be tired. So they're going to make the game quicker. So, yeah, I really think that this game is absolutely going to be one to look out for. I also think it's going to be a cracker, but obviously I have to give it to the Stormers just because of the forward pack. I think from watching these videos, I think you guys can tell that I always base my decisions based on the forward pack, and if the forward pack looks good, I think the backs are even spectacular.